Hello and welcome to Viewpoints. My name is Rick Harlow. I'm here with Bill Sweeney. We're going to talk about his thesis on interrupting the jihadi internet, or understanding interrupting the jihadi internet. Bill, tell me, how did you come up with this topic?
Almost by accident. I originally had a different topic picked, which was on the structure of my organization.
Which is?
The FBI.
Right.
I did a presentation during the technology class, which was focused a lot on Web 2.0. So for my presentation, decided to focus on a little bit of terrorism, and was the internet having sort of any sort of impact on that threat stream. Took a look at it, did the presentation. Afterwards, one of the professors asked what my thesis was on. Told him what it was. Well, what about this? Didn't really think about this. He said, what if you're doing on this topic? So I altered my topic early on, I guess that was the second quarter, and switched to Web 2.0 and the internet and its impact on the terrorism fight.
Well, tell me about that, the jihadi internet. What does that mean?
To me, it meant the violent terrorist groups. They're all violent, but violent terrorists using the internet to recruit, train, propagate their message, and get it out there, and how that was impacting us, especially here at the stateside, homegrown side on the homeland. So that's how I first started to take a look at it.
Do you find that is a real problem, that the international terrorist groups are using the internet to promote their cause?
I think so. When I first started looking at it, some of the research and some of the literature I found out there dealt with the fight overseas, and how groups like Zarqawi and Al-Qaeda in Iraq were using it to bring fighters into Iraq and then push their message in Afghanistan for the other groups. But the bigger impact here was the homegrown extremists that are here, and you start to see how the message that's bouncing around the internet is latched onto by folks here in the U.S., a variety of age ranges. And although some folks will say, hey, it's not a serious threat, that a lot of these plots that have been here are sort of startup type guys. Ultimately, they're all focused on one thing, which is a mass casualty attack. So they're basically basking in this message, and there's no real strategy to counter it.
So how did you conduct your research? I know that you looked at internet sites, but what else? How would you find out more about this topic?
Most of it I did looking at cases or subjects that were arrested over the course of a year and a half. So from '09, late '08 to 2010, most of them in 2009, which I think ultimately had 24 different folks arrested in the U.S. Broke them into different categories: those that came from core Al-Qaeda, those that were affiliated with other groups, and then those guys that we consider homegrown guys and gals. Broke them into categories, sort of looked at the radicalization cycle, because I thought that had to be a component to understand how do you actually start getting involved in this sort of thing. Looked at 3 radicalization models, and then tried to find open source material that showed where the internet played a role in that process of them planning to do some sort of attack.
So what were your findings then?
Findings were mixed. It's a widespread problem, in my opinion. It is more of an issue with the homegrown folks here, not so much the core AQ types, the core Al-Qaeda types. They seem to have already existed in this framework for some time. It comes from overseas. They grew up with it. So the internet wasn't so much a factor in their path towards getting to their end stage, whereas it was very much a factor in some of the younger generation. A lot of multimedia content out there. And one of the bigger things was it wasn't so much the web forums that the U.S. intelligence community is looking at already, and they seem to have pretty well covered. It's the stuff that's out there every day. YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, all the stuff that folks younger than us are constantly using, but nobody seems to pay attention to. And that's where a lot of it seemed to get their initial focus.
So did you come up with some recommendations? What can the government do to counteract this?
It's tough. Obviously, there's a lot of First Amendment concerns. It can't just be the government. I looked at some of the stuff that's going on in the UK and some of the problems they had with their prevent strategy. It really is, as cliche as it sounds, a whole of community approach. It will require academics to get involved with understanding how the process works, how somebody gets engaged in this. Certainly requires government resources to understand the intelligence streams, but also the private sector, understanding how their sites are actually being used and manipulated by some of these individuals and groups, and what they can do on their own to counter it. And a big part of that is education. If you let some of these entities and companies and corporations know what's going on out there, there's no reason to hide it, then perhaps they can do something to address it on their own.
Thank you, Bill, for a great discussion on a very important topic.
Thanks, Rick.